Today we are in Hull for the first BHPC event of the season. I will be riding the usual Zokra High Racer. I have been building a new bike, but it is not yet ready. We are not short of outstanding velomobiles today, and even a carbon trike. The first race of the day will be the slow race. Exactly 4 laps. Steve March on his carbon on-cycle is having the best start. Lloyd Talbot on his challenge focus is having the worst start. After the first lap, Steve March on his on-cycle is leading the race by quite a big margin. Nigel Lee on his challenge Jester is in second place, followed by Alan Goodman on his windshield trike. Lloyd Talbot on his challenge focus and Martin Kiesel on his carbon trike are battling for the 4th place. Heather Fortnum on her trike and Sheriff Harding on his on-cycle are at the back of the field. Steve March on his carbon on-cycle is dominating that race. I think he is faster than quite a few riders in the faster race. Somehow today we are split into 3 races. The slow race that you are watching now, the medium race and the fast race that will be coming up later. Martin Kiesel and Lloyd Talbot are still battling for the 4th place. Sheriff Harding on his on-cycle and Heather Fortnum on her trike are fighting for the 6th place. Steve March on his on-cycle is already lapping them. Nigel Lee on his challenge low racer is in 2nd place. Alan Goodman on his windshield trike is still in 3rd place. Steve March on his carbon on-cycle has won the race. Lloyd Talbot wins the sprints for the 4th place. Now is the time for the medium race, 4 laps. I am attacking straight away. Johan Favre on his M5 low racer is right behind me. He usually is my competitor for the unfair classification. My attack is successful, and I am leading the race to the end. Now is the time for the fast race. Russell Bridge is riding the new Woodstock Streamliner, the grey Streamliner that you can see at the front. How will it fare against the velomobiles? Andrew Sidwell on his rat racer is somehow in that race. It's not an advantage, as he won't be able to work with anybody to go faster. After half a lap, Russell Bridge in his Woodstock Streamliner is leading the race. Ahead of Slash in the Beano Streamliner, Lee Wexfield in his Snug Velomobile is in 3rd place, closely followed by Jack Watson in the Bob Streamliner. John Quigg in the Aquila Velomobile is in 5th place, followed by the Yellow Donkey Streamliner. Slash in the Beano Streamliner has taken back the lead, ahead of Russell Bridge in the Woodstock Streamliner. Lee Wexfield in his Snug Velomobile is only a couple of seconds behind. John Quigg in his Aquila Velomobile is actually coming back. Derek Twiddle in his Yellow Donkey Streamliner is quite a bit slower in 6th place. Andrew Sidwell on his rat racer is in last place. It is quite logical, he is the only unfair bike in that race. John Quigg in his Aquila Velomobile has overtaken Jack Watson in his Bob Streamliner. Slash in the Beano Streamliner is increasing his lead. However, the battle for the 2nd place is heating up. The 2 velomobiles and the 2 Streamliners are a couple of seconds of each other. Slash in the Beano Streamliner is now bound to win. Russell Bridge and Lee Wakefield are battling for the second place, closely followed by John Grid in his Aquila Velomobile. Derek Twiddle in the Yellow Donkey Streamliner is quite a long way behind in 6th place. Jack Watson in the Bob Streamliner has now been dropped. Slash in the Bino Streamliner has won the race. He has even lapped Andrew Sidwell in the last lap. Now is the time for the second slow race. 45 minutes plus 1 lap. There will be no medium race this time, so we are either in the slower or in the faster race. John Lucien on his Pelso Brevet is having the best start. He actually does not have a front fairing. It is actually a huge chainring guard. After the first lap, Steve March on his Carbon on cycle has taken the lead. He is followed by a group of 5 riders. Steve March on his Carbon on cycle is still leading ahead of John Lucien and Kim Wall. Dan Bergonzi on his Raptor bike low racer is not far behind. It is rather chilly for a spring day. The weather will get worse on the next day, so much so that the race will be shortened. It will be around 5 degrees and raining a lot. Steve March is still leading the race on his own cycle. It looks like the race will be won by one of these 4 riders. Steve March on his Carbon on cycle is still leading the race, which is quite amazing as the group of 2-wheelers is supposed to be faster. Kim Wall on her Optima Baron and John Lucien on his Pelso Brevet have taken the lead. John Lucien is sprinting away in the last lap and is taking the win, ahead of Kim Wall on her Optima Baron low racer. Dan Bergonzi on his Raptor bike is 3rd, ahead of Steve March on his own cycle. Now is the time for the fast race. 45 minutes plus 1 lap. The Streamliners are favorite to win, as this track is reasonably fast. I am not starting very quickly, right behind John Grid in his Australian Aquila Velomobile. I don't want to waste any energy against Velomobiles that should be faster on this track. After half a kilometer, I got dropped by the Velomobile, and I dropped Andrew Sidwell on his Rat Racer. As usual, Joran Farver on his M5 low racer is coming back. My average pace is not fast enough, and he is overtaking me. We probably still have 25 km to the end of the race, so there is plenty of time to think about the next move. Slash in the Bino Streamliner is leading the race, and he is going to lap us. He is followed by Russell Bridge in his new Woodstock Streamliner in 2nd place. They are probably 10 or 15 km faster than us. Russell Bridge is aiming at going as fast as Slash in the Bino Streamliner, but he is not quite there yet. Lee Wakefield in his Snug Velomobile is in 3rd place, and he is lapping us. Simon Watson in the Spelky Streamliner seems to be closing in on us. He is now sitting in my wheel. Slash in the Bino streamliner is already lapping us for the second time. He will win that race as usual. We are lapping Tim McDonald in his Milan SL velomobile. John Grid in his Aguila velomobile is lapping us. Russell Bridge in his Woodstock velomobile is lapping us again as well. He will end up in second place for the race. The unfair bikes really have no chance to win on this track. Derek Twiddle in his Yellow Donkey streamliner seems to be closing in on us. He is one lap ahead. Derek Tudor in the Yellow Donkey streamliner is lapping us. Simon Watson is taking the opportunity to overtake us. I'm not trying to follow, as the priority is to beat Turan on his M5 low racer. That's it. I am launching an attack. There is 1 or 2 laps remaining. Very soon. Catching up with Simon Watson in the Spelky streamliner and Derek Twiddle in the Yellow Donkey streamliner. I'm going to unlap myself and end up in 6th place overall, and first in the unfair and partially fair classification. I don't have any video of the next day, as I was literally frozen in the cold temperature and rain. Stay tuned for the next video.